How is everybody doing? Welcome to Red Alert Diaries Live with Tanya E. Hood. I'm hoping that you listened to this morning's episode because if you have, then you know we're having a conversation about discovering how to love you. There are too many times that we love on others more than we love on ourselves, and that has got to change. Because if you don't know how to love you, how are you really going to show and share somebody else what that means and how it feels? You got to take some time. I shared in this morning's episode how I wrote myself love letters. In the aftermath of my divorce, missing out on that, hearing someone close to you every day say it, even though there are moments in my life it wasn't exactly expressed in various points. So it dawned on me, I don't really say I love you a whole lot, and I haven't heard it said a whole lot, so I need to do something different. If you find yourself in a position where you have to create the thing that you want the most. Do it until it is finally embedded in your soul. Because let me tell y'all, it was not really intuitive in the beginning. Writing myself letters, Tanya, I love you. Tanya, I appreciate you. It didn't make sense. And it may not make sense to you if you find yourself in a position where you may have to do it as well. But start. You have no problem sharing love and giving love to everybody else around you. If somebody said they needed you, you'd stop everything that you were doing and you go. You would support. But if it comes to you, you don't give yourself the love you give away. So I shared in this morning's episode for those that may be finding it challenging in the aftermath of your divorce, like I did in the aftermath of mine. Write a love letter. Write what you wish was told to you in that moment. Because a lot of us in those moments were fresh in our feelings. I remember afterwards, it was one night, the boys was away with their father, and it was just me by myself. Those moments when it's just you don't often know what to do with those moments. You don't often know how to really feel in those moments, but you do feel a heaviness and a longing. It is in those moments. I want you to write what you want, but in the letter, title it to you so that one day you will look back and see, I took the time to write myself love letters, to explore what I wanted, my personal preferences, my needs, my desires. And in the middle of me writing those letters, I discovered that there's some things I needed to know. So I went on a new discovery. Some of you have heard, those of you that haven't, I went on a discovery of my favorite flower, my favorite color, my favorite things. Lots of times we like to believe that we remember those things, but if you have given all that you have in that relationship and now to find yourself on the other side, you may be questioning, is my favorite flower really my favorite flower? Or my favorite color still my favorite color? Or my favorite food really my favorite food? Because you did not have it given to you often, and you spent all your time focusing on what the other person needed. So, in the middle of all of it, you weren't cared for the way you should have been cared for. You weren't loved on the way you should have been loved on. So, now it's time to empower yourself, rediscover yourself, and go through these exercises. The first thing, write a love letter. Here's a second thing that I was sharing that you can do. And this often builds your confidence. I shared in this morning's episode that I never really dressed myself. I went straight from my grandmother's house to my husband at the time, and my grandmother dressed me. She bought my clothes, made my clothes most of the time. And then I went and married a man who I didn't have a problem because growing up a tomboy didn't make much of a difference to me. So he picked the clothes he liked. When we went shopping, because I still didn't like that, and still not the greatest thing that's appealing to me now. But he picked what he liked, and I didn't mind. But when it came to a place in the aftermath of my divorce, when I had to decide, what am I going to wear? I had no clue because I never really dressed me. I didn't have a clear sense of my style. So one of the things that I did that I shared in this morning's episode, subscribe to a couple of different magazines. And now that we have the internet, social media, go to different places. Most of the time people go to Pinterest. Create a board of your favorite things. I still have my Pinterest board. And in my Pinterest board, there are still moments where I just pin the ideas of what I think I like. So I scroll through the feed. You can do that. But back then, when I was doing it, the predated internet version of Pinterest, I got some magazines. And you may still want to order a physical magazine because there's something about touching the pages. It forces your brain to assess the colors, to look at the shapes, to pay attention to the sizes. And if you're getting multiple magazines and coming across similar styles, like I did, maybe the nerd in you will have you do what I also did. Create a folder that has all those things in it. So I had an accordion folder that I started just putting my ideas in. And it was in that folder one day when I went back and was like, hey, I seem to be picking similar styles. Now, now I had a better clue, better insight about my style. And it does not have to be with clothes. Pick anything, something new you may want to explore, but you're not really sure what it is. Take an hour scrolling. Scroll and start picking and liking things because with the way that you get the cookie trackers, it'll start following you around and you'll really get some clarity whether you really like it or you don't. So you may have to hide some of those ads when you start clicking and discover, I thought I wanted this, but now I don't. And start resetting the algorithm to help support you in locating some new things. In this day and age, there's so many different ways that we can find something that we desire, something that we like. And when you do, it gives you a little bit of confidence. You find yourself in a position where you are now empowered because you are sitting on the foundation of something that you truly believe, something that you feel, something that you chose. A lot of us, in the aftermath of our divorce, we're struggling because we didn't often choose for us. We made everyday decisions for those that we were caring for. Our husbands, our children, our family, our friends. We took the time to make certain that we knew what everybody else needed, what everybody else wanted, and all of our efforts and energy went there. As a result, now that it's just you by yourself trying to figure it out, you're lost. Well, let's redirect that. Take some of this time to redirect some of that energy and put it inside of yourself. Create self-love practices that you can now enjoy because you've allowed everybody else in the world to enjoy. You empower yourself and be resilient in how you can love you through the process. And for those of you that know me, I shared also that there are moments that you have to get some insight outside yourself to get more clarity about who's inside yourself to love. I allowed Jesus to join me on the journey because the thing that I decided that I may not always feel good about Tanya, and sometimes the inner chatter and the self-pity didn't look good on me then, and I wasn't functioning well with it, but I didn't know how to get out of the cycle. What helped me get out of that cycle was asking God, who am I? And when Jesus joined me on the journey, he let me know that I'm a masterpiece. Yeah, there may be some pieces about me that seems broken, tattered, and torn, but at the end of the day, God still says I'm a masterpiece. And if the creator of the universe decides to tell me I'm a masterpiece, who am I to let someone else tell me otherwise? So if you've got to get insight in a being greater than yourself, to get more knowledge about yourself, walk in it. Because that spiritual support and guidance will help you find solace in your soul, will give you comfort in the middle of the chaos, and it will also give you an element of perseverance when you just want to curl up. How do I know that? And going through my journey, when I didn't understand, I decided to parrot God's words back to me. When God said, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. And I have created a life to give you hope and a future. I sat on the middle of that because there were moments I didn't feel hope and I didn't see a future. But if I trusted what was said about me there, that gave me strength. And you may need to walk in the middle of that to stand in your inherent truth about who you are because you are worthy to be loved the way that you love everybody else. So go back and listen to this morning's episode. There's a couple of different other touch points I'm not going to go into today, but I wanted to share that with you now because sometimes we don't get enough insight about it. But exploring it and appreciating who we are, yeah, let's take some time to do that. It is in that exploration that we will get the opportunity to discover some new things. And don't complicate this. Those of you that are logical and analytical like I am, analyze all the time anyway. Don't complicate it. Choose one thing to just explore. You'll have enough touch points that'll come off of it, but it will also give you an opportunity to focus because it is in our moments where so many things, so many options, so many opportunities, sometimes having too many options is not okay because it doesn't support you, it doesn't help you, and you will not be able to discover yourself or get the confidence that you need to move yourself into a better direction. So I'm hoping that this is supportive and helpful, but I want you to leave your comments below. What have you done? If you've gone through a traumatic experience, like a divorce or loss, and you are in the middle of trying to discover again, what do I do next? How do I live through these next moments? What have you discovered? Leave your comments below so that those that are walking through this journey can get some more insight. Because I'm just sharing my one little touch point, and it is supportive and it has helped me. But there is so much more help that we can gain as a collective. And I've often shared that if any of this is resonating with you, like, subscribe, and share. And that way, others can get some of the support that you're receiving. Others can get a different viewpoint along the way. And that way, I will also know what other parts of my life to start sharing. Because I'm giving the small snippets, the snippets that I've often heard, those of you that reach out to me on a regular basis. I'm thankful. But for those of you that I'm just meeting, let me know how I can be a support system to you. And if you want someone to join you on the journey, feel free to go to my website, tanyaehood.com. There you can click under the Work With Me tab and see the various ways that we can work with one another. And I'm looking forward to having the extended conversation. We can do that a little more down in the comments below. In the meantime, this is Tanya E. Hood walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.